Okay, story time. So yesterday morning, what was it? 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Joey and I had just got done with the morning chores and sitting on the back porch, waking up, drinking my coffee. It's our normal routine, right? So I get a phone call from the neighbor who rarely calls me and certainly doesn't ever call me that early in the morning. Nor do I call her that early in the morning unless there's a dog issue between her dogs and my dogs and random other neighbor dogs that end up in one of the other of our properties. So anyway, I get a phone call to answer it, and she says, "Ruby's loose, this little butthead." And I was like, oh no. So I go running out from the house all the way out to the driveway down there, and sure enough, there's Ruby with the neighbor. But then as soon as she sees me, Ruby starts running back this way. And I figured she was about to show me where she had got out, but she didn't. She ran just far enough for me to get out of this gate and catch her and bring her back inside. So we're trying to figure out what in the world happened. How did she get out of this new pasture area, right? So we figure, I'm gonna walk you over here to the gate and explain this little gap. When we bought this property, this fence here went all the way across. This gate wasn't here. We put the gate in. Fence posts that are right here, this one and the other newer one down there, are set back further from the fence, right? So on that end, Joey had closed the gap with a piece of wire like this. But this part was open yesterday morning. So I, based on some behavior over in the other pasture in small areas I've seen Ruby squeeze herself through, I thought for sure this is where she squeezed out, right? So Joey and I, first thing in the morning yesterday, hurry up, grab this little piece of wire and close this in. And we think, problem solved, right? No, problem not solved. On the phone with my boss yesterday at about 4:15, and I get a call from this other neighbor telling me that my dog's loose, and she was out here in this wooded area, which is, it's actually their property, but it's not fenced along with the rest of their property. There's a gap between my fence and theirs. It's about 50, 100 feet. But it's not fenced off from the road. So that tells me either she jumped over the fence over here or she got out somehow on this side again and then walked up from the road into that wooded area. So I hang up the phone with my boss real quick and I come running out here and I'm looking, and there, sure enough, she's all the way over there in them woods. How many acres did you say that is over there, babe? 100?
That's the Osceola National Forest.
Yeah, so it's a huge area next to the park that you guys have seen us go walk down to the waterfall before, right? So this whole wooded area is undeveloped. There's no houses or anything over there. So I see her way back in the woods, and I go haul my fat behind over there, and I'm calling for her. Well, she's a Great Pyrenees, and if anybody knows anything about Great Pyrenees, you know they don't always have great recall. They should, but they don't. They're bred to be very independent dogs so that they can independently work larger property and do their job and guard their stock, right? Their livestock. So she's not listening. I'm calling and calling and calling, and I go walking all the way down because she's going back at an angle in that direction, and I'm trying to figure, there's a fence there. So I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get in there. By then the neighbor comes over across the street with me. We go out into the woods calling for her, and we come across a fence we can't get past to go to the area where she was. Anyway, so long story short, she ends up down here at this park. There's kids and families and whatever playing down there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how she's going to behave, whatever. Finally, I get her, drag her behind, across the street, back in through this gate and over here. And so Dean, the neighbor, and I are standing here looking at the fence like this is the same exact fence that is over in the other pasture. She never has tried to get over the fence. She's never climbed the fence. She's never jumped a fence. She never got out of her area. But over here, all of a sudden, put her in this beautiful new area, and she decides to run off. And then I come walking over here and I discover why. We basically gave her a little staircase to allow her, and we've actually pulled some of this out. It was worse yesterday. We gave her a little staircase to climb up in between these two trunks of tree. And then look at there. You can probably see it right there. Hair. Ruby's hair. Busted. That's how she got out. So Joey's at work while all this is happening. And so I called Joey and I said, you got to bring home some T-posts. We got to create a fence around this tree where the staircase exists, where she can very easily get over the fence. And so this is what we did. It was dark. We were out here, rode the golf cart, parked it right over here with the headlights on, brought a couple flashlights, put it on top of the golf cart for added light, and then me and Joey built this little fence in the dark at like 7:30 last night so that she could no longer access the stair step tree and get over the fence. And lo and behold, we come out this morning and she's here. This is not a beautiful fence, but again, we did this in the dark, and it was urgent, and we needed a last minute repair for the issue, and this is what we came up with. So yeah, she's still here. She hasn't gone off all day. I think problem solved, right, babe?
Yeah, repair turned out fine too. Decent
Problem solved.
for now.
Anyway, so I don't know, the goat, this is a goat area, right? So we know the goats are going to come over and they're going to push on this very loose fence. Listen, again, it was very temporary, very urgent that we get it done, but we did it, and she's still in here. And eventually we're going to come back out here and probably put in wooden posts and actually pull the fence properly and blah, 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 all that. But for now, problem solved. All right, bye y'all.